What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the KingdomCore Podcast. It's your host, Sean. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, man. Good. It's been a bit. It's been like a good probably month since we last recorded.
That should be the new subtitle of our podcast, the KingdomCore Podcast. It's been a bit.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I say that more often than I don't. And our next episode will definitely be a bit.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I'm having a kid literally like in the next 2 to 3 weeks probably. So there will definitely be a bit of a break probably for like a month or two, just depending on how things are and how we're able to adjust to new parent life. But
Congrats.
It's going to be fun.
I'm
We're
so
excited.
for
Thanks,
you guys.
Chris. I appreciate it. I'm excited too.
While you're delving into the world of fatherhood, I will be rooting on the Canucks as they go to the Stanley Cup Finals in just a few weeks. No, we'll see where they go.
Well, that might age really poorly.
It might. It did.
Might age very poorly.
Game 6 against the Edmonton Oilers tonight. For anybody who wants to keep track of a timeline,
that'll be one of those like video collages where it's like videos of things like moments before disaster.
yeah.
Oh man, but it's good to be back. We're not doing an interview today. This is something we've different. This is something Chris and I have kind of wanted to do for a bit and weren't really sure how to. Then we finally just said, screw it. Let's just do it, you know?
Yeah,
so,
I think we figured out a good system. It should work.
Yeah.
We kind of took some experience from our draft episodes with the All-Consuming Podcast guys. And we'll do some screen recording. We're going to be... Well, actually, yeah. What are we doing, Sean?
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, that's totally fine. You'll get the gist of it, and we'll definitely narrate. But this is an episode that you may want to watch on YouTube. That's going to be on Chris's channel at For the Rock on YouTube. But we are doing a tier list of Christian metal bands and kind of ranking their discographies. But the fun part is Chris and I have to be able to agree on a ranking for these. So that's where the bulk of the entertainment hopefully will be when Chris and I are at each other's throats, just 2 albums into this probably.
Actually, honestly,
maybe 1 album in.
I predict 3rd album in is going to be debatable on this one.
All right.
But
for those who don't know what a tier list is, you can like rank there's a website, Tier Maker, and you can like upload photos, or there's already like pre-made ones, and you basically like rank things based on how much you like them. So there's like S tier, which is like some people call it God tier, or it's just like that's perfect. A tier, B tier, C, D, E, F, basically like a grading system like in school, except you have S, which is at the top.
And I think it's good to note that the bands that we're covering today, I don't know if we're going to go there in this ranking system at all, but like the way that Sean and I listen to music, I think we would agree that none of the albums that is going to be on this list we would be like, oh, this is an F.
We're
like,
not here to trash.
Like that's not
albums.
what this is. Yeah. if we do use the F at all, it's literally just like this is probably the band's worst album. but we love it. Like we enjoy all these albums from all these bands. It's not like, you know, we're not saying they suck or that album sucks. We like all the albums. Let's just make that clear.
Yes. So, hopefully we like all the albums.
Yeah,
we'll see. But,
we like some more than others.
Yes.
And that's the point.
But this will be fun. We have a few bands lined up. And if this goes well, and if it somehow goes by quicker than we expect, maybe we might make this a really long episode, or we may make it like a 2-part episode, or we could do a part 2 at some point in the future if you guys like this.
Definitely let us know. We actually sent a little poll in the KingdomCore Instagram channel and broadcast channel, and you guys actually decided what you wanted to see. So we gave the option of either band discographies or like fan submitted albums from these bands and rank them against each other, but
maybe we could do that another time.
Yeah, that might be a possibility. It was heavily in favor of doing specific bands and their discographies.
Which was actually pretty shocking for me. Not gonna lie.
I thought it was going to go that way, but
I thought it was going to go that way the other way. Yeah. TBH, but I don't know.
But yeah, so we're here. We have 4 bands picked for this episode that we're going to go through, and then we'll go from there. But just before, we got couple.
Got an Apple Music review or Apple Podcast review to read.
Yes.
So if you guys are new here, we always read a new, or at least the newest one we can find of our Apple Podcast reviews. So if you're listening to this on Apple or you're watching on YouTube, go to Apple Podcasts and go write a review, and we may read it on the air next time. This one is from Kali Drindar. I'm sure I'm butchering that. They wrote, "Wonderful podcast and a highlight of my week." They say, "Absolutely love the KingdomCore podcast. I have discovered more awesome music through this podcast and their Instagram than almost anywhere else. Recently, about a year and a half ago, made a switch to primarily listening to Christian metalcore and hardcore and this podcast. I found a very early in that and really helped me explore a brand new area of taste after having listened mostly to the secular music. I love the way that the hosts bring their faith and their taste in the podcast. It's a lot of fun, and there are a lot of musicians and bands that I feel a lot more engaged with and interested in having either heard them on the podcast or having heard them talked about on the podcast. And it seems like the quality just keeps going up with each new. Keep it up." Thank you. We really appreciate that. That's really cool. I love that.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys sending in these reviews. Also, I don't know, Sean, if you knew it all. I get emails about it from the podcast email. On Spotify.
You mean the podcast email I've never logged into?
Yeah. We barely use it for anything. But we actually, whenever a podcast goes live on Spotify, it kind of defaults and asks, "What's your favorite part of this episode?" Like, it's a question, people can answer it, and then I have to
oh, really?
I have to publish it. Like, I can allow the comment to go through. There's quite a few of you guys who actually answer these, and it's really cool. But we got to get better at that. I might have to start actually you can custom enter in a question or whatever
cool.
on there. But those are readable on Spotify. We'll have to maybe check those out sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also we want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters. You guys are absolute rock stars, still here. Most of you guys from the beginning. And our core givers, just $10 or more. We got Steve Michalowski, Jonathan Lyman, Frankie Blocker, Fabian Richter, Aaron Peter, Anthony Kuchma, and our true fan supporters, literally since the beginning, the Dead Pedal Coffee Company.
We love y'all.
You guys are amazing.
Good coffee. Go grab a cup.
Yeah, we'll have to play one of their ads again sometime soon.
I know we
at
do.
The end of this one. Without a further ado, who are we doing first, Sean?
We are doing Phineas. Because you guys love Phineas, and this one was suggested a ton, and people all liked it anytime people suggested it.
Or how I always pronounced this band for many years when they first entered the scene, Phineas.
Phineas. That H is very important there.
Yeah. Oh boy, getting there already. We've lost somebody.
We're recording on a Saturday afternoon. I've never had this much energy for a podcast before.
Yeah, it's usually
we always record
late night, midweek.
I'm on Eastern and Chris is on Pacific. It's always like 9 or 10 my time, and I'm always just like swamped from a day at work.
And sometimes like we talk to the bands after, and it's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. your time.
we stayed on with Gary and Tyler till I think 12 or 1 my time.
Yeah, it was
pretty wild. But yeah, so we are doing Phineas. So where do we begin? Are we going, when we do these, are we doing order from debut through latest?
I was thinking that might be the easiest, but maybe if we get stuck on a record, I don't know. We could always.
Well, we're not getting stuck on anything.
Okay.
All right. So would you like to start this off? We have The God Machine by Phineas,
their
God
debut
Machine album.
Incredible debut, by
just
the way.
so you guys know, we are doing like we're doing only LPs. There's maybe one or two bands that have an EP, and it was like a label debut EP where none of those songs are on other albums. So we will leave that in.
Yeah, it's like their mainline discography, like it's original songs. This is like kind of in line. Like, so at some point, if we continue doing this, I'm sure we'll have
maybe we can do an EP
there,
episode.
But it's like it's their mainline discography.
Yes.
Which some EPs included. Okay. So we got the God Machine.
God Machine.
This came out in 2011.
What do you think? I want to hear what you say. Because you told me you think that we're going to have the most debate over Phineas, which really shocked me.
Yeah. Okay. This album. Okay. And we're trying to do this objectively as much as we can. Right? Is that what we agreed on? Or are we doing it subjectively?
We're doing I don't know. We're doing it based off of like what we think of the album.
Okay. So yeah, this is a disclaimer. A lot of you are not going to agree with us.
Your comment sections are going to be hilarious.
Yeah. So let's keep it chill.
If people didn't
let's be nice.
If people didn't understand the fantasy draft, they're going to hate this.
Oh my goodness. I'm both looking forward to it and not. But so 2011 God Machine, this was their label debut. They had an EP out previous to this, but they got signed to Red Chord Records.
EP, and they got
the
a lot
defunct
of the
Red Chord Records.
Yeah.
And I think, just my personal opinion, as much as they have some of their best songs are on this record. I think, at least most iconic songs, like I Am the Lion. I think like the intros of Crowns, and then the music video for My Horses Are Many. Awesome track list on this record. I think overall it is their worst. As I love it. I love this album. I think though
I'm literally speechless.
First one.
I don't know what to say. What were you thinking?
What
ranking were you thinking?
Well, okay. See, that's the thing where I'm like, personally, I would put this at like, just to be part of the tier listing, I would put this at like C tier. Like, I wouldn't say that Phineas is below that, but like in the case of this tier list, I don't know, like D. Let's say D is the bottom.
Whoa.
Whoa. I don't know.
Explain yourself.
They were a young band, and like you said in your own argument in some other post, like for today, I believe the band got better.
That doesn't.
So I think that the God Machine is overall the worst record, even though it has some of the best songs. What do you think?
I don't know what to say.
Are you like S tier on this one?
I was going like A tier, maybe S tier. Like,
okay, so between would be like a B tier.
Like, because I honestly think it's one of their most complete albums from start to finish, cohesively. The concept, the way it begins with like that God Machine, the Speaking Stone, and then the God Machine, the Writer, to end, and then That I May Love You. I don't know. It's very rarely does a band get 13 songs, 50 minutes on their debut.
That is true. There's a lot of songs.
That is this cool. High quality. To the point where I feel like Phineas almost wants to not distance themselves from this record, but like, okay, it's been like 13 years, so we'll maybe play one of these songs live. But, we got a lot of new stuff that's come out since. They play I Am the Lion. They've actually been doing Crowns lately with Thorns, because Thorns is Crowns Part 2, so it's kind of cool to play them back to back. But I don't know, like Bad Blood just starts off so heavy. A Pattern in Pain is one of the most like powerful and emotional Christian metalcore songs. I love that song so much. For a while back when I thought I might get tattoos, I wanted like a Pattern in the Pain tattoo, like Your Blood Was the Bridge Between Us.
That would be cool.
Grace Disguised by Darkness, I think, is a really underrated track. So much passion in that bridge. I don't know, man. Like what songs on this make you think it's D tier?
Okay, so
or is it the production and the sound?
The production is lower quality. Like, arguably, it's. I know some people are going to disagree with the statement, and I'll defend it later. I think in many ways, this is probably their worst production, or it's the next record's a little bit different. I know I know people are going to have different opinions.
If you guys are still listening on Apple or Spotify, you got to go on YouTube to see the faces I'm making right now.
But this is my point.
I am uncharacteristically silent.
My whole point with this is that, like, well, I don't know. There is definitely objective opinions on what is good and bad production.
Right. No,
but
totally.
I think why I thought Phineas is probably going to be our most spicy debate was because I know
because of
differing opinions
takes.
on production. But okay, in one case of defense, why I'm maybe willing to let this one go a little bit more in your direction for a tier list is that as much as like I've known of this band ever like since this album came out, like I was a fan when this album came out.
That's fair. Okay.
But I maybe haven't like they're one of the bands that I kind of like don't listen to all the time, and I don't know the albums like most of the albums front to back. Like I know this record like down by heart. Like when the main songs I do, but when you were talking about like the bridge of that one, I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know that part. I can't think of it. It's been a while since
it would be fun is if we pull up like different parts of songs to show each other as like evidence.
I wish we could. Yeah.
Oh, we can't?
No,
you
it won't
pull
work
up
with
YouTube on there. Oh, that's sad.
It's just one of those things where I'm like, I think the other albums have issues, but I think just overall, like, they're all slightly better. I thought in anticipation that there was one album that you're specifically going to say is way better than this one, that I would almost prefer the God Machine over it, but I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt in a more objective light and say that it was a better album. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
Are we thinking...
So I think...
Are we thinking B tier?
I think B tier would be kind of a fair middle ground. Because you were saying A, right?
Mm-hmm.
Initially, and I was kind of cross between
because
C and D.
C is truly mid, and there's no way you could call this a mid album. There's just no way.
That's true, but like, so this is my one hard point on how we're doing these tier lists. Is like, I can't give any of these albums for any of these bands an F or even probably an E because but. Are we going to spread it that much just to show the difference?
Possibly, we might.
But like,
we'll see. In
the actual sense of an F tier album, like I can't give any of these that. That's why I was like, we'll D is maybe, but
it's there. It's there.
We'll say you went A, I went C. We'll say it's a B. Is that fair?
I can settle at a B there. I could settle there. I'm not happy.
This is going to be a long episode of this. Oh
my goodness. All right.
Okay.
We've got the last word is yours to speak.
Where are we thinking on that bad boy?
Well, see, that's where it gets tough because the last word is yours to speak. I like that album a lot. I like the God Machine more. And if I was going to put the God Machine at A, I would happily put this at B. But to show the contrast, I can't put it at C. This is why it'd be great if it was like B plus, B minus, you know?
And this is why I thought it would almost be interesting if we both had our own list to show the difference.
That would be interesting.
Because I would probably put this...
But that wouldn't be as entertaining.
No, yeah. It's hard because it's like...
I'm going to go B. I just can't get myself... I love this. I think it's a great metalcore album, and I think it's a like perfectly good B tier album.
I think this album to me is is like a more refined, slightly more mature version of the God Machine. Like
it is.
The songs to me overall, like there's more songs on here that I remember that I can sing along to, that it's just like it sticks in my head a little bit more.
Okay. But Sean's least favorite.
I know he didn't like he hated his vocals on it, but
he also hates the lyrics. He says a lot of times
really?
like it wasn't in our interview, it was a different interview where he said that like he didn't even really know what he was writing a lot of the time. Like he just wrote things that sounded intelligent, and people are like, dude, that spoke to me. He goes, cool, because it didn't to me.
See, I didn't know that. Like, to me, I feel like there was a lot on this album that when I listened to it, I'm just like, oh. Like,
he said there were certain lines he just wrote because they kind of sounded artistic and intelligent, but they truly meant nothing to him.
Okay. See, that changes, like, what he was saying on our interview with him. Like, that makes more sense, like, why maybe he just doesn't like this album.
Right.
But, like,
I don't think he connects to it as much.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's a really good album. It is. But I definitely think it's B. Would you have put it at B, or were you like gonna put it at A?
No, I would have put this one at B.
Okay, cool. Then let's go B. All right,
that one's a little bit easier.
All right, we've got Till the End.
Till the End. Now this is, I think, it's this and the next album. I think a lot of people are split on when we talk about production. I hear nothing but praise about this album, but it's always bugged me. I am not going to say that it's worse than those other two albums.
Chris, but I was going to go S tier with this album.
See, this is where I knew we were going to disagree on this. No.
This is the pinnacle of 2010's Christian metalcore.
That's your nostalgia glasses, because isn't this one of your, like, that's the year that you got into the scene?
That's the year I got into Phineas. That is fair. But, like,
this was that album that you connected with that got you into it.
It is, but like even like stepping back a bit, it's just so good.
Okay, I think there's moments on this album like the like breakdown.
What about the sorry, I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
the breakdown, is it in Dead Choir that's like, without grace we would all be dead? Like,
yes,
that moment is one of the, like, I would say S tier moments of Christian metal. Like it's up there.
It's essential.
Yes.
Dude, like what?
We can't debate on the essentials, Sean.
what part of this album don't you like? There goes Dead Choir to White Livered to Truth Be Told, then Forever West, then you got to Telestai. They're like one of the best
great
Black Friday, Good Friday songs.
I love the songwriting on this album.
Coup de grace, like. Tell me, where did this album hurt you?
I thought it was coup de grace. Oh, okay.
Pretty sure. I think it's Latin.
Yeah, okay. I really like this album. It's very memorable. Like, there's good. Okay. Like, the songwriting is top tier. I agree.
Okay.
The production for me is very, like, and I see where a lot of people come. It's very oomphy. It's very, like, powerful.
Yes.
It's, to me, this was when production on metalcore got to the point where it's like, compression, everything as loud as you can make it, and it's like overbearing to me. Like it's so overpowered. Like the production to me, it's bugged me for years and years, and I haven't been able to enjoy this album as much.
So punchy,
and our mics are probably clipping talking about this right now.
Probably. It's so punchy. It's just riffs on breakdowns. You got these choruses. Oh my gosh. So you were gonna say S.
What
were you gonna? Were you gonna put this at C?
No, I was gonna put this at. I would have put this at A.
Okay,
but it would have been like a low A, high B, like kind of in between. But I'll give it an
settle
A.
at A.
Okay,
I don't know. Like, this is just.
I don't think there's really anywhere else we can.
I'm trying to save your comment sections.
I know everybody's gonna slam me.
Oh,
please be nice.
So now we've got.
So this is hard. This, I think we're gonna
flag. Really? I'd go like. I'd go like E.
Oh my word. This is where
I knew. Worst album.
No.
Nothing wrong with the
Dark Flag. Okay, I'm going to say this. I'll preface this by saying I can see why certain people don't like this as much. To me, Dark Flag is my favorite Phineas record for listening to. To me, it's the most
easy there.
To me, it's the most memorable. I can just jam these songs all the time.
Guys, remember when Chris said he doesn't listen to Phineas all the time?
This is the record, though. This is their record.
You need to go and listen to all 5 of the records in a row, and you'll see how wrong you are.
No, I've done that. That's what I'm saying. Every 2 years or so, I listen to all of them in a row. But
imagine only listening to Phineas every 2 years, as if I don't listen to them.
I listen to them
days.
Sometimes in between, but I just try and get. You know how many bands there are in the scene?
There are, but you don't have just regular albums that you just turn on whenever that are part of your constant rotation.
Not constant, but I think the most I would probably say is Falling Up or I don't know. I was about to say Skillet, but that's not true. It was a joke. but I don't know. I probably listen to August Burns Red a bit more than Phineas. Okay. And
so there's not why do I say that I give it an E tier? Because it's not a terrible record. It's not. I like the songs. I think Dark Flag's a great track. Burning Bright is really cool. I Saw the Bombs Fall was pretty
38th
fun.
Parallel. Hell Below. I Fear Heaven
Parallel,
above for the
dude,
Hell Below.
Okay. I think Hell Below.
Oh, sorry. 38th Parallel is it's chill instrumental. That's fine.
I think Hell Below is honestly one of Phineas's worst songs. So that's one of my least favorite Phineas tracks.
What? I quit this show, man.
This is our last episode, guys.
Our friendship is forever.
Our friendship is hanging by a thread.
Sean, if you don't recant that,
I have a lot of issues with that.
No, that's actually one of my favorites.
I'll just become a meaningless name.
You're the arduous march.
Yeah, that's what this feels like.
Break the earth.
No, dude, 30. So Hell Below, there's a lot of things. So let me paint the picture. I became obsessed with Phineas when Till the End came out, and that's all I listened to was their 3 albums, and that was right a little bit after I had really just gotten completely what's it called? Consumed by Christian metal. And so when I found them, it was okay, this is the band. And I waited so long for a new album for Dark Flag. I was so hyped over it. And I thought Dark Flag, when they dropped it as a single, was a really cool song. I was oh sweet, they're going genty, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And then Hell Below came out as the next single, and that song just feels incomplete to me. Really? There's no breakdown at the end. It builds up into nothing, and it's just such a big letdown for me every time.
It's kind of a weaker breakdown, but it's a breakdown.
It's such a weak breakdown that I can't even call it a breakdown, because
the heavy parts in the middle of the song. That's
it doesn't matter. Then just in the song before that weak part at the end, it feels so incomplete having him just growling. I can't remember the words to that part. No, not that part. No? But at the end, I can't remember what the lyrics are. Let me pull it up.
He says, "I fear a heaven above for the hell," and then it cuts out.
Yeah, but it's right before that, it felt like it was gonna drop heavier than they've ever dropped before.
Right, and it doesn't. It's a drop, but it's not it's not a massive bass drop and super heavy. Yeah. It's I get it.
I don't know.
Like the heavy part is in the middle.
It leaves me wanting more, but not in a good way. It feels unsatisfying. It's like when you eat like a huge meal, but there's like no protein in it, so you're not full. Like
spoken like a true carnivore.
I know, but like you know what I mean. Like when you eat a bunch of food and it just didn't satisfy. Like that's how it feels for me.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my take on that track. And then your problems with Till the End's
the production.
A production. I
know this is where the conversation comes from,
and I feel a lot of Phineas fans feel the same way about this album.
I've seen that a lot, and I have
and I even want you guys can quote me on this. This may be Mandela effect. I may be like forgetting something, but I thought I saw years ago like Daniel Gailey in like a Reddit AMA say that this album was kind of rushed. And he even wishes he could go back and like remix, remaster, whatever, all of that. Yeah. And I think they were just kind of trying to get it out in time because it was their Solid State debut. They were trying to get on Warped Tour. I remember that was a big push for them. I remember when they dropped it, they said something like, "We need you guys to stream this because this is how we get on to festivals like Warped Tour." And then they got on Warped Tour.
Right.
And so
it worked. It did its job.
But I truly feel like it was somewhat of a rushed record, which doesn't make it bad because rushed Phineas is better than like a lot of other bands. But in comparison to the rest of their, I don't know. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I've heard that the conversation about the production on it, and like I can hear where people are coming from. Like coming off of Till the End, it's an abrasive change in production. Like Till the End was like heavy compression, super loud, and this one's like almost under compressed, but it it's got more. I forget the word for it, but it's like
got more oomph.
No, it's got less oomph. Like
you're right, it has less oomph.
But I think that like I don't know, there's just something about the guitar tones that I love, the writing, the just parts of this album, they're so memorable to me. Like there's most of my favorite songs. Like if I was to pick a Phineas album to listen to, if I can only have one, even though there's like some of their best songs are on each album, like obviously that's how most bands work. Like you can pick and choose your favorites, but like I would listen to this one the most.
I don't know. I just feel like some of their most
No Death, No Forever is honestly like
No Death, No Forever is a great track. I love that.
That's like
again, I think
pure
it was killed by
the
I think it was killed by the production. I think with the same production as Till the End, this could have easily been a B tier record for me.
So you're saying D tier or E tier? No, you said E tier.
I said E tier because
this would have been my. I know of people like if we're going full subjectivity, this would have been my S tier. If we're going objectivity, I would say probably
absolutely no way
B tier. But because you're at E tier, I guess we have no choice but to put it as a C tier.
Okay. It's
below the rest is what you're like equaling
that's what I'm
out
saying.
Is what I mean, not predicting what the next one is, but I'm assuming that it's going to be an overall higher ranking between the two of us. But two of us, if it's just say A and E, then it's C.
Yeah, I guess that would be the natural. Yeah.
You're just like, I want to put it at D tier. There has to be a gap in between.
No, it's fine. As long as it's below every other album for me.
I have a feeling it will be. Okay, so then the Fire itself.
This is an A tier for me.
Yeah. I can see
love
that.
This record. I think it's one of the better Christian metalcore records of the 2020s. I really do.
Yeah. No, it stands out. And it came out at a very interesting time. Like
it really did.
But like it's crazy though the length of time. So Till the End was 2015, Dark Flag was 2017. I felt like that was a very, like what you're saying, it was possibly a rushed record because I wanted to get it out. It felt very quick in between for me. Long time for you being like a new fan, you're like, this is the best band ever.
Exactly.
But then It was 4 years of waiting.
4 years, dude. That was a long 4 years for me, especially after an album I just didn't care that much for.
Yeah. And I think the Fire itself it did what it's supposed to do. Like it
really did.
It was their next album on Solid State, and I think overall fan base would agree that it's a better album than Dark Flag. I like Dark Flag more. I'm just saying, but I mean, I understand why. Objectively, I understand why this one would be the better album, the more well sought after one. I think songwriting wise, they really took the time, and it's a little more mainstream to me, which I think gave it the popularity that it did.
But it still feels like Phineas.
Yeah, it still feels like Phineas, but like I think it was more accessible to a lot of people that in the secular scene. Like I remember this was when reaction videos were at their peak, and like everybody was reacting to
everyone
Phineas.
Was reacting to like Eternally Apart or Night.
Yeah, and it or really the Fire took itself, off.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
Okay, so
cool. I'm not horrified by this list. I'm okay with this. How do you feel about it?
I say we have to do this. We can't switch it. Dang it. I was going to put the Fire itself in front of till the end. But I think this is fair. Somehow Till the End still got the top spot. But and Dark Flag ended up last. Even with
sorry, Chris.
I love it. It's good. I think this is fair for what actually this is what most people would probably agree with. I think.
Probably, yeah. I would say so.
So I'm just gonna download that,
who are we doing next?
I think we need to hop into Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
This is gonna be
11 records.
This is gonna be. It took us a long time to go through 5.
Did. I feel like Demon Hunter is gonna be a lot easier. Because like different albums, we could just be like, that's that tier for me, that's that tier for you. Okay, let's meet in the middle. I don't feel like we'll have to debate as much.
That's fair. Okay,
we'll see. We will see.
See, this is what I was thinking, that it was when you're like, no, we're going to be able to go through like 10 minutes. I'm like, no, it's going to be long. We'd probably spend.
Yeah, I told Chris we should have like 8 bands ready. And guys, we got through one band in 37 minutes.
Grant, we had a longer intro. It was like
we did have a long intro, so that was maybe like 20-ish minutes.
Yeah,
25.
But Demon Hunter, we got 11 albums.
We have 11 albums. Yeah.
Okay. Self-titled. Right. This is gonna be so hard because like we have to give some of these albums their. I guess we could always change them if we felt like we had to. Right?
We could, yeah. Because if we get to another album where we're like, wait, there's no way that album's better than this one, and you can change them. I've seen people change during tier lists.
But right off the bat, what are you feeling with the self-titled? I
don't want to come in hot, but I think self-titled is an A. Yeah, it's a really great record.
I think it's one of their best. Like,
I do too.
It's so refreshing going back to it after listening to their newer stuff and being like, it's so good.
It's so raw. It's like a lot of the people who like fell off on Demon Hunter after Summer of Darkness still love this record.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm fine at A. I was going to say why B. It'd be a B. I can understand why it'd be B.
I think how about this? We'll say
Let's
B for B. Now, and then
B is good. Yeah.
I feel like at A we might have to move it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agray.
Okay.
All
so
right.
B tier on first one. Summer of Darkness. I know everybody says they love this album more.
I don't. I think it's a really good album, but like
I think it's a little.
I definitely think it's a little more overhyped albums.
Yeah.
I really love a lot of the track. Like, Not Ready to Die is one of my favorite Demon Hunter songs.
Yeah, that one's up there for sure.
My Heartstrings Come Undone.
That's
really
classic.
Good. I Play Dead is really great. I understand why people think it is, because it really is kind of like different than a lot of their other stuff, and it's when they really came into their sound. Like, I'm fine putting this as a B tier. I really am.
Oh, okay, B tier.
Oh,
I was going to say C.
But we'll have all the Demon Hunter fans coming after us if we play Summer.
Again, this is just for in terms of their whole discography. We have to make room for all these records somehow.
Right. I guess like
I would say this is like middle of the road. Like,
I would say it is kind of middle of the road, and that shows how highly I think of their discography if I'm placing it at B. But I guess like I'm kind of ranking these in general, not in comparison to their whole body of work. So like I hear Summer of Darkness and I just think it's a B tier album just in general. If we're taught, I think it is a C tier Demon Hunter record, but I think it's just a B tier record, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would
think
agree with that.
And I think that's probably a better way for us to do this.
So are we saying
And that's why Dark Flag was so low for me, because it was like a E tier Phineas record. But like I know that still hurts. I'm sorry.
It hurts so much.
But like I would give that a very good C tier metalcore. I really would.
And sometimes C tier is the best stuff. That's why Dark Flag is the best.
No, it's the D tier. If anyone's ever watched like Finn McKenzie do these, he always like he'll place bands at D tier and everyone's like, "What? That band's so good!" And he's like, "Yes, it's always the crappy D tier bands that we all love, but you can't admit that they're not like you can't admit that like all the big bands aren't better than them, you know?"
Yeah,
type thing. Okay, we can go C for now. We may be switching this list around a bit. We'll see.
I think we're going to hard disagree. I have a feeling that the way this is going, we're going to be disagreeing on the next one.
All right, let's hear what you think about the triptych.
I love this record. This, when I first got into Demon Hunter, first got on the scene, like I knew of them in like 2008, maybe was when I'd been into rock for a little bit and I was hearing some of the stuff. I loved Carry Me Down, which was like a newer song from them at the time. And it was a rock song. So I was able to get into them. But when I finally got into metal, like, and I was able to like really dig into it, like late 2009, early 2010, maybe it was I think it was 2010 that I got the 3-pack that had, the first 3 albums, like it was their anthology pack.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the triptych. Like there's just something so different about this record, like some of these songs compared to the first 2. And songs like, I mean, Not I, Undying, Fire to My Soul is actually like one of my favorite Demon Hunter songs, period.
1,000 Apologies is that for me.
Okay, yeah. And then Science of Lies.
It's a good one. Snap
Your Finger, Snack Your Neck. Now, that's a cover. And I only found that out like a couple years ago, which is crazy. But,
and then you got Ribcage.
Oh,
and
The Tide Began to Rise
is like their best ballad.
It's
so powerful.
Like,
I'm easily giving this A.
Okay,
I know you were probably saying S, weren't you?
No, I was thinking A.
I would,
but I thought you were going to go like D.
It's a top 4 Demon Hunter record. Easily.
Okay, I'm glad that we agree. Actually,
I always forget how good that record is, and then I look at if you would have just asked me like before looking at it, I would have probably said it's B. And then I look at the track list and I'm like, there's not a track on this I don't love.
It's one of my favorite covers too. Like if we're going just off the base album covers, because they almost all have alternates.
Yeah, and the triptych has like 20 alternates.
Yeah, they would that was the first one that.
And I like this one the best of. It's better than the alternates, I think.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah, there was the one with like the yellow and it had like spider legs coming off. It's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
I love just the base triptych artwork. It's so
I agree.
Good. Okay.
All right, we've got Storm the Gates of Hell. This is my S tier.
Okay. That was I wasn't expecting that, but
okay, Storm the Gates of Hell is a top 2 Demon Hunter for me.
Interesting.
For the longest time it was my favorite, and I still don't know if it's my favorite because there's like 2 that are tied for my favorite.
It's even looking at
a single song that's not like just one of their best. I don't know. How do you feel about this album?
It's hard because it's like looking at the rest of the albums and even what we put on here, it's like it's hard to pick what would be the S tier album.
Don't say it yet.
No, I won't say it yet. But I always thought like when. Again, I got into them 2010. Down was the first thing. So when I got
into them like right at the same time.
Yeah, basically. And this was Storm the Gates of Hell was like this is Demon Hunter. Like, this is what Demon Hunter is.
I was like, this is too heavy for me at the time.
Oh, really?
And I was like, give me Collapsing. Give me, give me Not I was fine. Give me Carry Me Down, Fading Away.
Yeah, the
Storm the Gates
songs,
of Hell, the title track. I was like, this is wild.
Yeah, that was actually probably one of my earlier metal songs that I really loved was Storm the Gates of Hell. Like,
that was like the one I listened
stuff,
to for like shock value.
Yeah.
When I'd like show my friends at school, listen to this band.
Yeah, listen to this band. It's so metal. I would say it's hard because it's like it's weird looking at it side by side with like the triptych, but I would say A tier.
I could do A tier because I think they're I could definitely.
I'm interested in knowing what your S tier is going to be like.
Oh yeah, okay,
all right. But okay. So
because like dude, every song on that is so good. Lead Us Home, 16, Fading Away, Carry Me Down, A Thread of Light, I Am You, Incision, Thorns, Follow the Wolves.
It's like crazy because like
it's just banger after banger.
Yeah, I think Storm the Gates of Hell is like
definitely the most cohesive.
This is the most cohesive. Like this is what Demon Hunter is, but like the triptych has just it's more unique.
Different.
It's more different.
I agree.
But
it's
like
more Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I don't know. There's just something. It's like it does sound less mature, but it's like it's more interesting.
That makes sense.
And that's why I feel like they're both kind of in that A tier.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in what people will say on that. Like the triptych.
Yeah.
But
all right, so what do we have next? We've got The World is a Thorn. Oh, this is an interesting one.
I don't know. I can't read you anymore. Like I don't know where
I'm doing a poker face, a good poker face.
Yeah.
So based off of what we've already done, I don't see how this gets higher than D.
Oh my goodness. This is the album that I think is where we differ on it.
This is where we differ. So I want to say something funny.
Okay.
And this was actually the first this was the first Demon Hunter record I got into. It was the newest Demon Hunter record, and it's actually what opened my eyes to the band. Okay. So there's a soft spot in my heart because I remember hearing Descending Upon Us for the first time and just thinking, I get this. This is so cool. It's so like, it's just such a metal track, you know?
Right.
Just very metal. And I was like, this is cool. The chorus like deviates from the verse like in such a cool way.
Yeah.
Life War, very, very heavy. Collapsing is awesome.
Collapsing's amazing.
This is the Lion and Driving Nails is cool. The World is a Thorn is awesome. But then the last like 4 tracks of the album just kind of
tie this around your neck.
I actually really like Tie This, but like Just Breathe, Shallow Water, Feel As Though You Could. Those are throwaway Demon Hunter tracks for me.
I'm just
those
quickly
are like
very
B-sides.
quietly.
Those are B-sides, man.
Shallow Water, I can see. I feel like
Feel As Though You Could is probably one of Demon Hunter's worst songs.
Really?
I don't know, man. I just don't get it. And it just like as an album,
I love the
really
like song though.
I like a lot, and there are parts of each of those tracks that I like, but the full track, not a ton. And so this album for me, like I can listen to each individual song and enjoy the majority of them, but it just doesn't feel that cohesive to me. It really doesn't.
I can see that.
I don't know. That's me.
You've convinced me to not give this S tier.
Yeah, you were gonna give it S tier? What? Is this how it feels? Is it? I want to hear why you thought it was S tier.
I don't know. I think maybe it's my nostalgia.
It's because it's because you love album art so much, and it's their best album art.
Yeah, I mean that could be it,
dude. When you get the physical copy and you take the insert
whole
out
thing,
and you unfold it,
it's
you get
amazing.
the whole cathedral. It's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
it is their best album art.
Yeah,
it really is.
Maybe that is what part of it. Okay. I will say, though, in defense of the last 4 tracks, Just Breathe is actually really good.
Breathe is okay.
Oh, it's so good. Everything about it. The melodies, the vocals, like maybe the guitars I'm not listening to enough. Like the song writing below
it's kind of
vocals.
Like a lot of those like last 4 tracks are just kind of boring. Blood in the Tears is even like
Blood in the Tears.
It's like it's fine. Enemies. It's fine. Like it's just kind of boring. I don't know. Like I love a good Demon Hunter ballad. Like I've posted so many times over the years on Kingdom Core that like I enjoy both parts of Demon Hunter like equally. But even then, Blood in the Tears is just really boring to me. I'm sorry.
Well, I think
here, let me ask.
When you compare Blood in the Tears,
this was going to go S tier for you. So I want to know why you think this was better than the Triptych and Storm the Gates of Hell.
I think maybe it was like looking back because this was 2010. This was the year that I was like a metalhead. Okay. Like
because like for me, Collapsing was the song that got me into metal.
Yeah,
it literally
Collapsing and Collapsing. I think
it's like one of their best songs.
It's one of their best songs. Like it's like especially if you're going in a commercial sense, but like out of their
most popular, other than I Am a Stone, it's their most popular. I think.
Yeah, and I think like looking at this album, that you would be like, okay, that's their best song on this album, at least. And like, if you had to pick one from each album, but
yeah,
I think like you convinced me with a good point about like the last section of songs. Like I was looking at the names and I'm like, do I remember how those songs go? And I had to quickly listen to them.
Exactly.
The rest of the songs I remember,
it's just
but
kind of unmemorable.
I think though, like when you compare like Blood in the Tears as the final track versus the Triptych with The Tide Began to Rise, like The Tide Began to Rise is just like way up there. Like it's hard to beat it, but
100%.
Yeah, I think between the artwork, the nostalgia of like when it came out, like I was now a full-on Demon Hunter fan. This was like the new album, and then also like the artwork, the thing with Collapsing was on. I don't know if you remembered. I don't know if you ever had like Rock Band and Guitar Hero.
Yeah, it was on like Guitar Hero.
It was on Rock Band.
Rock Band, that's right.
Because Tooth and Nail did like a deal, like Tooth and Nail and Solid State. They had songs that were available to purchase. Like I had an Emery song. I had
Emery. Hunter. I had Under Oath.
Yeah, Under Oath. And then like they had like Flyleaf, which was not Tooth and Nail, but like
I know
they had all these
Prada.
Bands. I want to try and make it happen someday, but I have an Xbox 360 again from a few years ago. I have the Rock Band games. I was able to download the songs.
Oh, nice.
I just don't have a way to record it properly. I wanted to make a video of playing those songs in 2024.
That'd be cool. Have you seen the video on YouTube of Demon Hunter playing Collapsing on Rock Band?
That was
they're
amazing.
all playing different instruments.
Yeah, that was iconic. Really funny.
That was pretty good.
That'd make a good reel. We got to pull that up.
That would be, yeah.
But yeah, like.
So what do you think? I can settle on C tier, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
I think if I'm coming down, like I would say S tier is a little unreasonable. Like that's my personal S tier. But like I think I could go with
mid
B
very
tier.
Mid Demon. You could go with B?
Yeah.
Oof.
See, that looks about right?
We'll place it there for now. It doesn't look good above Summer of Darkness.
Oh, no. Okay.
But we'll see.
Okay.
All right. So we got True Defiance now.
This is where it gets hard for me.
Really? Okay. Because I love this record.
True Defiance, when it came out, I think I was in a weird place. Like, this was like, I was like so in love with The World is a Thorn and everything that they had released up to that point. That when
hang on. Disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing True Defiance Deluxe Edition since that has their most popular track on it?
I mean, I guess we can include that. Like, I didn't. What?
Because I feel like I Am a Stone.
Right.
I feel like True Defiance is the album it is because of I Am a Stone.
And very few people got to hear that when it first came out. because like you had to buy the deluxe version, which I don't think it came out in 2013, but the normal version I think came out 2012.
Yep.
So it was.
What's wild about it? I've still only seen Demon Hunter once. It was amazing. I saw them back in 2019 when they did their 2 sets. It was just them. There was no opener, and they played 2 sets. They played an acoustic set, then an electric set.
Okay.
When they were about to play I Am a Stone, Ryan said, he goes, "We are the only band on the planet who has released 10 albums
and their best song is a B-side.
Whose most popular song is a B-side."
Yeah.
He's like, try to find another band with 10 albums whose most popular is a B-side, because you won't. And I'm like, I literally can't. Like, he's got a point. That's just such an interesting fact.
Right.
But that song means because he went on this long speech before about like how when you're in a band, you just never know what's going to resonate with people, and how when they wrote that, he didn't even really want to include it as a B-side. And you just never know how a song is going to really impact your fans, you know?
Yeah.
But all right, all that to say, I think True Defiance.
This one's really hard for me because like when it came out and how much I was enjoying all these other records from them, and like now I was getting into like the, like super chuggy metalcore, like everything at that time.
Yeah.
This album upon release felt like a disappointment to me.
Interesting.
Like it felt like a lot. I mean, it was like more of the same, but like he didn't hit the same way to me.
I can see that,
but like, it's grown on me a lot over the years.
Okay.
Like, but when this first came out, I would have what we have right now, I would have put it probably at C tier.
Okay. So what would you put it like now? What do you think? Because based on this is so hard.
I need to listen to it again.
To me, it's not better than The World, or to me, it's better than The World is a Thorn,
but not our A tier albums.
Yeah, but like I'm okay putting it at C just in general because I like this album. Yeah. I don't like where it is below World is a Thorn.
Right. Okay. I can see that.
Like God Forsaken is one of my favorite Demon Hunter tracks.
That's a really good song. Yeah.
I really like God Forsaken. Dead Flowers is a perfect like Demon Hunter ballad.
Yeah.
Someone to Hate is really good.
But I feel like that's, to me, like looking at this track list,
I'd give it a C. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel good with that.
Okay, cool.
I know that you feel weird putting that below World of Thorns, but to me, I'm like, this looks right.
It's okay. I can kind of see it. And I always go back and forth between True Defiance and The World is a Thorn. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
I need to give True Defiance more time. Like I haven't listened to it enough. Like
it's different for sure.
Yeah. And it was kind of, I think, the beginning of this like new era of Demon Hunter, because I feel like they kind of changed their sound going into this record and beyond. Like it was like the first era was those first 5 albums.
Yeah. Okay. So brings us to Extremist.
I really don't. Now that we've had that conversation with True Defiance and World is a Thorn, I cannot tell where this is going to go with you. Like, it's so hard to know what your thoughts are going to be on these albums. Because
what do you think it is for me? I was like, just take a wild guess.
I was anticipating that this whole conversation was going to be you just praising all of their newer records from True Defiance on. Maybe other than Peace. I don't know. Like, that'll be an interesting discussion. But yeah, I thought you were like way up here with all the newer stuff.
Okay. So. All right.
Extremist.
Extremist is S tier. It's their best record.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I love this album more than I love myself. Like, this album can go on anytime. I remember being in high school. I was like full, Christian rock metalhead guy. Yeah. And I remember when they released Artificial Light as the first single, and I was like, this is it. Like I just knew there are records.
Such a cool lyric video. It was like
Dude, that lyric
3D,
video,
like Blender
so
animation.
cool. I remember seeing Demon Hunter drop new track. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta go watch this. And that lyric video just captivated me. The chorus is just so like that pre-chorus part is really unique and is what I think makes Demon Hunter.
Right.
And so I remember just there are like albums that come out during your like formative years, you know, where you remember the first single, you remember every single aspect of that release, you know, of that entire drop. And I just remember absolutely loving that track. Then the last one, Alive, was dropped, and I was like, okay, this is the best of everything I love in Christian metal sound, because at the time, like, again,
that's a really good song. I'm listening to
the only metalcore I listened to was early Demon Hunter and then like Wolves at the Gate. That was pretty much it at that time. And so I just thought it was so phenomenal. And then when it came out, I just loved every track because it mixed at the time what I loved: heavy parts where I could understand the screaming, and then just super catchy melodic hooks.
Yeah. It has the
this album had everything I wanted.
I think looking, well, no, I remember a lot of these. I feel like this is one of those ones where it's like I can't even remember The Heart of a Graveyard at all.
What?
Hold on.
That's like one of my favorite like slower Demon Hunter tracks.
Oh, okay, it's this song. Okay, yeah. See, I'm just really bad with song names. I feel like as I got older,
that's probably fair,
I stopped like looking at the band, like the name of the song.
No, that's definitely very fair.
But yeah, like, okay,
like Death is
what is your favorite song on this record?
Oh, that's so tough because I literally love them all. Like, I can literally go through all 12 tracks and tell you what specifically I love about each of them. Like, that's how much I like this record. But
like the one song you couldn't live without that impacted
an underrated song in the entire Demon Hunter discography is Gasoline.
Oh, okay. That's not
that song is
what I was expecting there either.
It's so melodic and so starts off so catchy and just peaceful, and it just goes into the chorus like super heavy out of nowhere where he just yells gasoline. I don't know. I think that's
got a really cool riff in there.
I think it's a really cool song.
Yeah.
I remember hearing Cross to Bear for the first time and was like, can I listen to this? They said bastards. And I was like, are they cursing? And
I was like Flyleaf with Damn the Dark. I was like, I remember playing that in front of my parents, and they were like, oh. I'm like, they're a Christian band, I swear.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I think the one thing that stands out to this record for me, like the first time I heard it and till now, even though it's not the most interesting song, I think like my favorite song that just stands out, stands the test of time, is I Will Fail You. Like, I Will Fail You it's so phenomenal. Yeah, it's so good. It's like a very chill song, but it's like that it's also got the perfect. That's what I was going to say. When you were late night about driving, you know, like I was sad by the music video because like I thought it makes sense. Like everything's good there. I just thought it deserved more, and I felt like at the time, like it didn't have the like creative elaborateness that it deserved. Like it was because it was so simple. It was just Ryan in a car, like, and it was slow-mo. I like that. It's simple. I think the song is so simple. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm just like, when at the time I was like, oh, like this deserves like a huge, like crazy production, like, cause it like, it's just so like epic of a song. But that's what the last one, Alive, got. That music video is epic. Yeah. They're in the wilderness. It's dark. They got fire. Right. Yeah. I don't know. Where do you put this? Where would you have put this? I'm based on what I'm hearing, I'm thinking you probably would have made it a B tier. It's really hard. Like I think, like I wasn't thinking S tier because like it's hard to say like this is the best album. Demon Hunter have a S tier record? I don't know. Like,
or are they just?
That's where I was
thinking about it. I was like, Demon Hunter is just such a consistently great band. I don't know if they have any absolute 10 out of 10s. I think everything is just a solid 8 or 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
which makes them stand the test of time.
Right. That's the thing. Like, it's hard for me to say that it deserves more than the Triptych and Storm the Gates of Hell. Okay. But it also hurts me to say that it deserves any less than those, but it's also hard to say that it's equal to those. Like, I can't.
This is where we need like A- or
I
B+.
know, right? It's like,
you know, like I'll give it an 89 out of 100.
I think maybe overall, like it's like kind of like, it's not smack dab in the middle, but I guess it's past the middle of there.
Because I like it in I'm okay with it in A tier, B tier. We're gonna have to battle it out.
I would say, yeah, like no less than an A tier, honestly.
Okay, good. Okay, cool.
But like,
so you agree it's one of their better records?
I think so. Yeah, I think there was an element of it, like True Defiance when it first came out.
Okay,
it was like, I feel like every new Demon Hunter album now takes time with me.
It's true.
Like, I don't like it right away.
So much time. No, not at all. Not at all.
But the older I get, like True Defiance and Extremist, especially, like those two, now that I look back and it's like we're 10 years later, 12 years later on True Defiance, it's like those albums are better now than they were then. To me.
I agree. I really agree.
But I think that's going to be the case with all the remaining albums, that it's like
probably
it's going to be another like.
And we just had a conversation about this we'll get to it later, but we just had a conversation about this regarding one of the upcoming records,
right? Just
like a few days ago.
Yeah, we did.
I've been okay with this discussion so far.
Yeah, no, it's actually going a lot better than I thought.
It is. We've never really talked about Demon Hunter at length. We just talk about how much we love Demon Hunter, but we've never gotten into it.
That's
like
true.
The nitty-gritty. So
and I think I was really worried about, like, I don't know how I would pick an S tier. Like, I think in some ways World as a Thorn is like, that's like my just overall favorite, where I'm like, I could go back to this at any point. Yeah. But like what we were talking about makes sense, where I'm like, it can't be an S tier. Like,
right, I get that.
It's got its issues. Like every album everywhere always has issues. It's like no perfection.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm comfortable now that you're saying like we might not have an S tier record. Like it's okay not to.
It is okay. It's all right.
I'm like, we have to fill each slot.
Yeah.
Okay, so next one, Outlive.
Let's hear about it.
This is going to be hard because, again, I think
this
maybe
took a long time with me.
When this one came out,
I was so disappointed when this came out.
Really? Okay.
I was really disappointed. I didn't understand it at all.
I think in some ways,
not sure Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. In some ways, I feel like this was the one out of the newer albums, the newer era, that I was like. Right away, like I actually did really enjoy it.
Okay.
But maybe over time I've less enjoyed it. Like,
so interesting.
Maybe. Okay. Like, I don't know.
You know what happened to me with this album is that came out in 2017, and that was that was when I was, a couple years into just like, if it's not heavy enough, I don't care about it.
Right.
I was in that weird stage that every metalhead goes through,
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's how I felt. I was like, why is there electronic elements? It's too melodic.
This was the start of like
weird,
synth.
like why is he even screaming on Cold Winter Sun? It's not heavy, like. And died in my sleep. I was like, oh, like this bores me to sleep, like it was just weird. And so I don't want to say I've had it out for this album, but I've always had a hard time wanting to love this album. But then when I will, because we have friends, we know people who think this is like their best record.
Right.
And I can understand why they would say that. And every time I go back and listen to it, I think it's better than I remember it, but I still think it's just. See, this is where it's weird because I think it's better than The World is a Thorn, but I don't think it's better than Summer of Darkness. So I'm like, I don't know where to put this. Where are you putting this, Chris?
Yeah, it's hard. I think I would put
also.
I would probably put it. I want to say I would put it next to our C tier albums, but like
I'm okay at C tier. I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What really kind of turned me on to this record a little bit more was when I watched their documentary about it that they made, and I realized just how much the band. I think you have to watch it on what is their Blessed Resistance.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've never actually.
So I did like a month or two of the Blessed Resistance during COVID,
right? Because
I had nothing else to do, and I just watched and listened to everything they had.
Yeah,
and then I canceled my membership.
I think that's how a lot of people do it. There's the people that stay around for years and years and years, like the Dead Pedal Coffee Company.
I could understand that. Yeah, exactly.
But then you totally get the perks and go.
So they had like a documentary, and it was actually very like really touching, hearing all the things that each band member individually was going through, and like how they just honestly poured out their entire souls on this record, and it made me view it in a whole different light.
Okay.
So I actually really like the album.
Yeah,
I do. It's not the one that I go to all the time.
No, that's fair. And like looking back, I'm like, man, like True Defiance, I'm like, I need to spend more time with this one. But every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this is actually a lot better than I thought. But
and I think that's just Demon Hunter. I think Demon Hunter, when an album comes out, because we have our favorites and they have 11 albums, we hear something that's different and that we don't like as much, and we just kind of write it off. And then like once the dust kind of settles, we're like, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because like I've always really liked Jesus Wept as a song. But Cold Winter Sun, it's funny you mentioned that, like, and I just listened to the chorus again. I think that
it's a good song.
Some of the verse is kind of weird because it's like it's
so
quiet and there's like screaming, but the chorus I think is one of the best.
Really catchy, yeah.
Like, and the guitar riffs below it in the chorus are just insanely good. Like,
yeah, no, I would agree. Is it Cold Blood? Is that the one where it like ends like all staticky?
Yes. Yeah.
I remember the first time I listened to that, I thought my headphones were breaking. And I was like freaking out because it did such a good job of sounding like it was doesn't it actually sound like your headphones are breaking?
I can hear it. It's
if you've never heard it before,
audio version of what the video game Arkham Asylum did. If anybody's ever played that,
I played that game. I don't remember.
There's a point in the game where it's like,
by the way, one of the best Xbox or one of the best games.
No, it's ever. So good. Yeah. I'm actually surprised to hear you played it.
I used to, I was a gamer back before college.
So like, there's a point halfway to 3/4 in that game where, like, I think it's like in the story, Batman gets knocked out. Like you're playing as Batman, and then you wake back up, and it starts playing the opening cutscene of the game again.
I remember that.
You're like, wait, what's going on? And you press.
I remember that.
If you press like on Xbox, like the A button, and it brings up the little thing to skip. It'll say like skip animation or like skip the cutscene.
Yeah.
But it's like off colored. Like it's the wrong color. It's like purple, and then you keep going, and as you go into it, it's like everything's wrong. Like it doesn't, but you think the game glitched and it started over again, and you're not. So I actually quit to the menu, and then I played it again, and it happened again. I'm like, what's going on? And then I waited, and I was like, oh, this is actually you were like knocked out by Scarecrow or whatever. It's like. It was amazing because it makes you think the game's broken and like kind of like this moment.
Yeah,
it's like the Norma Jean breakdown when in Death Rattle.
Oh yeah,
that one
just gets
almost blows out your headphones because it's.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, we've got War. This was one that what I was talking about where Chris and I discussed an album earlier this week. This is one where when it came out, I liked Peace way more than I liked War.
Oh, okay.
And now that 5 years has gone by, I think War is Demon Hunter's worst record.
What?
Or no. Peace
Okay.
is Demon Hunter's worst record.
Thank you.
And I think War is actually really good, and I understand why it gets all the hype it does.
Okay. You scared me when you said after all this time it's the worst.
No. I meant. So I listened to War this week at the gym, and I really enjoyed it. I hadn't listened to it in a long time, and I have no issue giving it a solid B tier.
I was gonna say B tier. I think it would fit right.
Wow, look at us.
Yeah, this is all about. And then Peace.
So Peace, I don't know.
E.
Let me see.
Here, look at the image on the screen.
So Loneliness is actually really good.
They have some good songs on there. It's not like an absolute terrible album.
It's not. E's fine. I'm fine
but
with
it's it's not like. I mean, it could be a D, but I think it's just not.
It misses the mark, and I understand what they went for.
Absolutely,
and I think it's got some cool track. Fear Is Not My Guide is good.
I like More Than Bones.
More Than Bones is great. Peace is good. Loneliness is good.
When the Devil Come was kind of. That was where this album was like, huh?
That's where the album
was so weird.
I was like, okay, this is just strange. I get why they wrote it.
I understand what they tried to do with the whole War and Peace concept, and I thought it was really cool.
It's cool. Yeah. And a lot of the songs sound really good on Songs of Death and Resurrection.
I will say though,
I saw them live was right after War and Peace came out, so they played a few of these tracks and they were really good live.
Right.
But again, as an album, it's just not a full listen.
Not that either one's really better or worse, but I do think I like Peace artwork more than War. It's just more interesting.
I kind of agree.
Because it's just it's an interesting kind of this whitewashed stone tomb kind of thing.
I can see
and then
that.
The silver because the guy the videos of that stuff there was a guy they hired that actually made those.
Oh, really? Are they wood? What are they? Metal?
Yeah, I think
that's cool.
I can't remember if there was 3D printing involved or something,
really
or
cool.
it was it might have been. I think
there
there
was
was
demon skull, right? He actually went out and fought demons with the skull.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he physically made those, and those are maybe touched up a bit, but I think those are almost completely photographic. They're a photograph.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. That is really cool.
That was really cool when the album came out, and I remember seeing the behind the scenes of that. But I think War, as cool as it is, and I think I like the skull design a bit more than Peace, because you can see a bit different. But just the Peace overall visual is just it's so good.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is interesting. So we got Exile. This is the last one. This one's really hard. Because on one hand,
I did not like this when it first came out.
Okay.
For the first couple months, I was and then it's
it
grown on me a lot. But I think just looking at everything else,
first concept record.
Yeah,
and I think that's really cool. And
I wish I could see the comic book and stuff that went with it, the rest of it.
Yeah, I get that. It's a really cool concept. I think the production on it, I'm not huge on. A lot of the songs sound like they're off of different records. A lot of the song, it doesn't
it's a bit more raw, and it's
yeah, but Master has a different production than Heaven Don't Cry or something.
And it's Master,
and Master is a great song, but the production on it kind of kills it.
Yeah, there's times where it peaks too loud, when it does the big slamming thing. It's just so loud compared to everything else.
As a song, it's the best one on the album.
Yeah, it is definitely good.
It's so good.
I like Heaven Don't Cry.
Heaven Don't Cry is pretty. I really like Praise the Void and Freedom is Dead.
Praise the Void's definitely one of those kind of standout ballad songs.
Chemicals is pretty cool.
Chemicals is one of my favorites as well.
See, this is where if it were
Freedom is Dead is just so different. but I like it too. But it's like so chaotic.
I don't know. This is weird because I don't know what Demon Hunter records I could say are worse than this. I also don't know what Demon Hunter record
Peace.
Peace. Yeah.
I think honestly, just my initial thought would that this would slip into that B slot.
That's really tough because I would never call this a D album.
No, but this is we're ranking just Demon Hunter. Like we have to
Yeah. It's tough because I have a hard time even saying it's my second least favorite Demon Hunter record, even though it kind of is. But I really like and appreciate the album.
Yeah.
I just think their other body of work stands out to me more, or is more my speed.
And
I don't know.
That's the thing. This
and
could
maybe
change.
with time, in another 2, 3, 4, 5 years, this might be top 5 for me. You never know. So that was hard. That was tough.
Yeah. I think that looks right. Like
that looks
for the
right.
most part. I think it could do some tweaks, but
I think this is the most we'll ever agree.
I was surprised that it went as easy as it did, but
yeah.
I think we're kind of right on.
Good job.
Are you still cheating yourself every morning with stale store-bought coffee? How about you try something a little more fresh? Go to deadpedalcoffee.com and get your fresh roasted fuel delivered straight to your door. You order, we roast, then we ship. Kickstart your day with a fresh cup of coffee from the South. It ain't just coffee, it's a lifestyle.
Cool. So we got Wolves at the Gate now.
Ooh, boy.
Ooh, dude, I think we're going to have a good time with I think this is going to be the most agreeable because, like, Wolves at the Gate is easily both of, like, one of our favorite bands ever.
Yeah. I feel like
Wolves at the Gate is definitely in your top 5, like, favorite bands, right? At least for Christian metal.
I think so.
They're easily mine. They're like...
Yeah, I guess as far as metal goes, yeah, definitely top 5.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. So We Are the Ones. This is hard already because, like...
Is it?
I would say that this is almost... it's hard to say it's their best release, but it's like...
It's one of their highest quality releases.
Really? Are you talking about like production or...
I'm talking like songwriting.
Songwriting?
I think every song on the album is fantastic. I mean, Harold's is classic.
That's, I think, still my favorite Wolves of the Gate song.
Perfect song.
That was my introduction to them. When that music video dropped on Solid State, the day of, I was like in love with this band. And I don't think that feeling has ever been beat.
Oh, The Depths is
another classic.
That was I know that this is going to sound really dumb, but if you're really into metal, and it took you a while to get into metal, you'll understand. This was the first ever, metalcore song that had a ton of screaming that I was able to memorize the whole song.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, where I was able to, sing and scream along to the whole thing, knowing every single... Because it was... When you first get into metal, you don't know what they're saying a lot of the times, and you can't memorize it all. You can't sing and scream along. So this was the first song that I just sat down with the lyrics and played it on repeat until I memorized the whole thing.
Right.
And I remember that. And I thought I was so cool.
Just listening to it now, that opening couple seconds of Vapors is so cool.
Oh, Vapors is great. And it's such the way We Are the Ones, Steve doing the spoken word thing, going into Vapors is so hype.
Yeah.
It's really good. I would love to put this. I think we can both say this is an A release, right? Were you gonna say S?
No, I think okay, Heralds and Oh the Depths are some of my favorite Wolves of the Gate songs ever. I'm just thinking, I think
No Rival though.
And No Rival. It's all good, obviously. It's Wolves of the Gate. But I think this might be a B, man.
You do.
To save
Are we
room.
including Harold's and No Rival acoustic? Because those two take it up.
That's part of the Solid State release.
That is fair.
That's part of the Solid State album.
Yeah.
And it also makes it longer. It's an 8-track with 30 minutes.
That's fair.
It's, basically an LP at that point.
I can go B. That's just gonna be weird putting things above.
We might have to move it, but let's just start with B.
Let's do B.
Yeah,
we said that about Demon Hunter, and then we never moved anything.
We never did. But I think I think we're gonna have an S tier in this one, but I don't know if we're gonna be able to agree on it. That's
okay. So put Captors at S.
I knew you were gonna say that. I mean, it seems
5
right.
by 5 at S.
Okay, there we go. Now we're talking. See, that's so hard to pick between those two. I think there's something
They're both equally great.
They are. 5 by 5 had this more rawness to it, like the tone and the production.
It did. Yeah.
But I think it's a more interesting album overall. Captors is absolutely insane. But even the band themselves are we wrote something that was so hard to play. We can't play that.
Which is why it's so awesome. But dude, Captors was the first metalcore record I ever listened to. Top 5 all-time album for me.
Yeah.
And
it deserves
I would die. We would spend the entire hour with me convincing you to put Captors at S if you didn't agree.
I was my only other thought would be that I would put it maybe at A, and I'm saying maybe because I think it's
it's so good. Dead Man is as good as Christian metalcore gets.
Yeah.
And just the way the harvest begins.
That's true.
And there's 3 choruses to that song. It's just constantly changing.
So let's put it at S tier.
Safeguards. Yeah.
Okay. Let's put it at S tier.
5 by 5 S tier.
Are we actually doing that? Are we putting both?
I think we are. I see no issue. You agree that that's S tier, right?
I love it. I just didn't think that's how this was going to go. I thought we were going to have to argue between those two. Because
they're both S tier for different reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both perfect albums.
Okay. That was also not what I was expecting from this conversation.
I think 5 by 5 is harder to listen to only because it really requires your full attention.
Yeah.
It's so heavy. Not even I know it's heavy musically, but I mean it's just so like the Father's Bargain. This song drains you, man.
Yeah. It's one of those albums that it demands your you can't just have it on.
You can't. I can't
just casually
in
the background, right?
See Captors, I casually can listen to any time. Yeah. And I will always enjoy it and casually listen. But yeah, this one demands your attention, like you said.
I got it. And then, so 5 by 5, what I actually got, this was, I think, the first album that I ever pre-ordered.
Oh, interesting.
A merch package from. And because there's always been a level of merch being just crazy expensive in Canada, to get it from
that makes sense.
From labels like Solid State Tooth and Nail, in the US.
Right.
So my birthday was coming up because what day did this release on? I think
it released June 10th.
Yeah, so my birthday is June 8th, and I remember that being a thing. I'm my parents were asking what they wanted from me, and they were still living in Saskatchewan, and I was here on Vancouver Island, BC. So they were away from me, and they were what can we do for his birthday? And I'm parents, I would love you forever if you could order this for me. And it was the merch package it was a 5 by 5 hoodie. It was a black hoodie with the 5 by 5 album design as white on the back.
Yeah.
And it also it was a white t-shirt that on the back, it had the wolves at the gate, the fence logo.
It's cool. Why'd your screen go white?
Oh, I minimized it. That's why.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Catch. What's going on?
No,
there we go.
Okay, there we go. And then let me guess, it probably had the CD too.
Yeah, it had the CD, and then the maroon shirt with the logo on the back, and it was so cool. But that was a $60 US thing, and so that's it was $100 Canadian or something like that.
Remember when $60 used to get you a hoodie, 2 shirts, and a CD?
Yeah.
Now it's $70 for one hoodie.
Yeah. So I mean, that was just, I remember getting that, and so when that arrived, basically, I think I actually might have got it a day or two early or something like that.
Okay.
Like in time for my birthday.
Yeah.
It was just a special time, like, and that album has always been with me. But like, obviously, day one, Wolves of the Gate fan of like when they signed to Solid State, like Heralds, and so. But that there's just something so special about 5x5 in my heart.
I agree. All right, Types and Shadows. This is where it gets interesting. This one I didn't like when it first came out. I'm sorry.
It was disappointing.
Steve.
It was disappointing.
Sorry,
yeah,
I didn't like it a ton when it came out,
but it's grown.
I didn't get it when it came out. It has grown on me so much. So I'll be the first to say Wolves of the Gate does not have a bad album.
Yeah. I don't know if you're the first to say that. In this
I'll be the first of us two.
Okay.
You could be the second.
Okay.
I think this album, they deviated a lot from their 5x5 sound and wanted to do something different, which is really cool. I don't think it was as commercially successful. I don't think a lot of their fans, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the people who just want, only heavy music kind of deviate. This is where Wolves of the Gate may have lost some of those metal head fans. Looking back, I like it a lot.
I love this album, but it's one of those ones I feel like the fan base, like in the last 4 years of us doing stuff like together, like
nobody really talks about it.
Nobody talks about it. Everybody talks about Captors a lot. Yeah. 5x5 a bit. We Are the Ones is kind of notable, but then their two newest albums are like
Eulogies and Eclipse. Everyone talks about.
Yeah, and like I don't hear anybody talking about this album anymore. I think it's really hard because like I can't say that it's necessarily better than We Are the Ones, but like I don't know, is that like a C tier?
Like, oh shoot,
or is it?
I think it's really. I think it is it a.
Or are you gonna go A?
I was honestly like, I have no issue with it at B or A.
I think B would probably
be
what I would say more fair for it.
I think it's a really great like Asleep.
Asleep
really
is
sick.
one of my favorite Wolves of the Gate songs. Like that's so good. That's a top 10 Wolves of the Gate.
Flickering Flame is fire. Pardon the pun. That actually was not intentional. Anathema is just so good.
Yeah,
so good. Fountain, I need Wolves at the Gate to do an entire album of hymn covers like they did with Fountain. I've been wanting that. Broken Bones is really sweet. Very upbeat rock song.
Oh, sweet. I just realized the last song, Gravedigger. Check it out.
What?
Gravedigger, right here.
I have no clue what you're showing me.
Oh, my goodness. You are an uncultured American.
You
don't even know monster trucks.
Oh, so sorry.
But no, I think Asleep and like Anathema are probably my two favorites on this record.
Hindsight is also like just hits you, just knife to the heart because it's just Peter. It's from Peter's perspective, and then you're talking about, when he heard the crow or the rooster crow 3 times, and it's just crazy. It's very heavy, like emotionally.
This is the album that like last year I misplaced when I was supposed to pick up my wife. Like I mistimed it, so I was like sitting in the parking lot waiting to pick her up from work for like half an hour. But
I thought you were at home listening to this. No. She's like, "Where's Chris?"
No. I was sitting in the parking lot, and they have literally no connection. Like I can't use my data to like use my phone at all. Like if I'm ever waiting, so I had this in the car, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like pull out the lyric sheet and actually read the lyrics along with it because I hadn't done that before, and it was one of those ones where it's like this deep. I mean, all their records are like this, where it's like I feel like if you don't have the lyrics up, there's so much that you're missing. Like there's so much juice in each one, but this one I was like, I feel like I have never actually knew anything about this song other than how it sounded like.
And
But yeah, there was stuff in there that like really just captivated me.
A lot of effort and stuff, very carefully crafted.
Yeah.
I'm okay with B.
Yeah, I think that's just in light of their whole discography, like that's probably where it's going to have to sit.
So this is where it gets tough for me.
This is where it's tough because Eclipse, when it first came out,
was like the best thing I'd ever heard.
It was kind of disappointing to me again.
Oh, really? And then as time has gone on,
it only took like a month or two for me to like.
It's kind of my least favorite overall album by them. And I think it's a really good album still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so this is why, like, if I'm ranking them, I still would put this at like a B album.
Yeah.
But just below Types and Shadows.
That's fair. I think
go ahead.
Yeah, when it came out, I was disappointed upon first listening, but then literally each time I listened to it, and I kept it in my car for like a month straight. And each time I listened to it, I liked it more and more and more. And then I kind of like didn't listen to it for a couple years almost. And I think when Eulogies was gearing up for release, I kind of went through them again, and it had been a while since I listened to Eclipse, and I was like, wow, like this album is definitely their most commercial, or at least at the time it was. Like, it just felt like it was the most like straightforward. It wasn't leaving you super like trying to dig deep into the depths to like figure it out. And
I would agree.
But now that I listen but I listened to it, I'm like, I think it's something with me just getting older and having listened to like all these bands. I'm not saying this is my favorite album from them at all, but I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, like maybe overall message wise, it was like a little bit weaker or however. I'm listening to these songs. I'm like, whoa. Like, yeah, I remember this song fully. Like, it just came back to me right away. All the choruses, everything. Like, I can sing along to it, even though like I didn't listen to it that much. At the end of it, I was like, this is a really catchy album. Like, it's memorable in that sense. But
The Cure is great. Very awesome. I remember when they dropped that as the single, the first single, and I loved it.
And it's like Drifter.
Voice into Violence. Yeah. Voice into Violence is like as good as Wolves get. Drifter. Counterfeit is fantastic.
Evil Are the Kings, I think, is actually my favorite.
Evil Are the Kings is a really interesting track. I really like that.
That felt like the most Wolves at the Gate song, I feel like, on this album.
Evil Are the Kings?
Like
really?
The lyrical context of it.
Yes.
Like, it just felt like something that could have been on, like, Types and Shadows, maybe. To me, I don't know. But
if we're talking about like something that could have been on Types and Shadows,
like it felt like older.
I feel like The Cure could have been on Types of the Shadows.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt because I thought that The Cure, when that first came out, I thought this is what Types and Shadows was missing for me.
Right.
But again, it's funny how as time goes on, they've kind of swapped.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, but it's funny because I feel like those two albums in today's world, like 2024, as we were just talking about, like we look back on their older records like so fondly, and then I feel like when we talk about Eulogies and stuff, like it's still fresh enough that it's on the mind, kind of. Yeah, but like these two albums are. Types and Shadows is more forgotten than Eclipse, but I think now it's like almost like Eclipse has kind of gone. It's had its moment, and now the sun has set a little bit. But it's like it's 50 minutes of Wolves at the Gate, and Types in the Shadows is 54 minutes. That's like 2 hours of Wolves at the Gate music that I feel like when I'm sitting down to listen to Wolves at the Gate are not the first thing that I go to.
That's true.
And think about.
Like I don't know. Like, could we put this at C? Or is that a little too low?
I wouldn't say it's a C tier record. I mean,
agreed.
But
based,
I think in this context,
I think it feels right. Shadows to A, we can put Eclipse at B.
No, I think this is right.
Okay.
And then I would say, jumping into Eulogies, I would say it's A.
Yes.
Okay.
I told you we wouldn't have a hard time with Wolves.
Yeah, I think Eulogies makes sense.
Great. It's just a really super solid album. I connected with it. Actually, I didn't connect with it immediately. I connected with it maybe second or third listen.
Yeah,
first listen, it was actually a little different than I was expecting.
The song though,
the lyrics out.
The one that I connected, I think I agree. The first time I listened to it was like, I'm like, I don't know, like it was really good, but like I'm like, and then, but the first listen, ever since the first listen, moment. Embracing accusations.
So the one they didn't write. Yeah.
The one they didn't write.
Dude, that was so funny on the podcast when we interviewed Steve and you told him that your favorite song was the one where he's like, oh yeah, that one was actually a cover.
Yeah, I'm like, what? That was funny, but
it was funny.
That song, their rendition of it, I've heard the Shane and Shane version, and it's really good. This song, those lyrics with this sound was just perfection to me. And
I think Silent Anthem is the best track on the album for me.
Okay.
I just think it's Wolves at the Gate, you know, and that ending section is just such a perfect way to put a bow on the album and end it.
Yeah.
But then I also think like, you know, Shadows and Lights and Fire are great tracks.
Yeah.
It just has a really good flow.
Both of them are. And it's funny, it's Kiss the Wave is almost it's
cool.
It's one of their like standout tracks as being something different. It doesn't sound like them, but I really like it.
I do. And I would almost be cool with more stuff from them like that. Yeah. Because I know Steve said when we interviewed him about this, like a lot of the tracks they would write and be like, that doesn't sound like a Wolves at the Gate track. And then they'd say, wait a minute, we are Wolves at the Gate and we wrote this track. So whatever we write sounds like a Wolves at the Gate song, you know? Mm-hmm. And I really like that for bands.
Yeah. Each band, like this is kind of a more in-depth thought of what bands are, but it's like every band is a collection of, well, I guess there's one people bands, but like one person to 6 people or however many people are in your band. Like I feel like most bands in our scene are like 1 to 4 people, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Each band is a unique combination of that's what that group of people can make, and nobody else can sound exactly like them. Nobody is going to write exactly like them. It's a unique collaboration. Even if it's one person, it's like that's what you are, your sound. And like obviously there's bands that sound similar, there's people that take inspiration from other bands, but it's like whenever I have a hard time a lot of the time when we have those conversations, like what does this band sound like who does this sound like? I'm like, I don't know, every band sounds different to me. Like it's pretty rare that I'll be like, oh, that person sounds exactly like this person.
Right. You can hear influences though.
Yeah.
Like, oh, absolutely. If you like this, you'll like this.
Yeah. And I think that's a better way of phrasing it than
that's why I try to do the for fans of.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. It's cool when you see maybe 2 people from this band or this project work together, do collaborations with this other person. A lot of the times in certain senses, like we have a lot of collaborations nowadays that are almost for hype or fan base of like, you know, it's a little less as a full creative thing. If you said that these 3 people are now in a band together from these other bands and they are like working together to make music, it's going to sound totally different than what they've done before. And I like that. Anyways, I don't know how we got on that tangent. Kiss the Wave.
Kiss the Wave. Yeah.
I feel like
great track.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think that was an easy end. Captors 5x5 S tier, Eulogies A tier.
This is gonna be the next one. This will be interesting.
All right, our last band for this episode. So yeah, let us know if you guys have enjoyed this, and
or us.
And us. But I don't know. This is something that I feel like we could maybe do again in the future. We could also spin this in different ways.
There are a lot of bands that would be fun to do this with. Too.
Yeah. So
if you guys have made it, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you. If you guys are listening to this and you're like, they didn't do my favorite band, please don't comment that. We know we didn't do your favorite band. We asked again. If
that there's like 500 bands to do right now.
If you're not in the KingdomCore Broadcast channel and we didn't do your favorite band, it is your fault. You know,
your fault. We did. We have a list of another group of 5 bands that were like kind of the most voted for. Like we had about 9 or 10 bands that were like everybody was talking about. Mm-hmm. So we do have another set of bands that we might do this again.
Part 2, you know. Yeah.
So, but yeah, thank you so much for listening. Make your voices heard. Thanks. Don't tell us that we did it wrong or we didn't do your favorite band. But like if you have your tier list made up of your favorite band out of these 4 or however you want to do it, let us know. It'll be fun to see where everybody's at. If you think that we were completely right, just head over to the Patreon and join the Patreon. Subscribe, hit that like button. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. Haste the Day, our final group. This is going to be hard because I feel like this first one.
I feel like we disagree a lot.
Well, this sets up the whole rest of the list.
It kind of does. It really does.
Pivotal
on how I'm okay with that.
I don't. It's so hard.
Who wants to go first?
I want you to go first on this one.
Oh gosh. So let me look at the track
I feel like
list.
we disagree on the next album, but like it really depends on.
I think this is just a really solid A.
Okay.
Burning Bridges is a phenomenal record through and through. I think it's just exactly. I think of like the metalcore that was out back then. Right. It sounds like this. It's like up there as some of the best.
Yeah, because this was like before August Burns Red came around, and I feel like August Burns Red became like that late 2000, like 2007.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
2006, I guess, was Messengers, right? Mm-hmm. Like I think that was the start of like this is what metalcore is. But Haste the Day released Burning Bridges when
this was like one
Killswitch Engage was around, and like
As I Lay Dying had just released their first record, Frail Words Collapse, in 2003.
And then like Under Oath wasn't so much metalcore, it was like post-hardcore, but like they kind of had a little bit of the influence there on what this.
And then Norma Jean was in the middle of transitioning vocalists. This is when Oh God, The Aftermath came out, I believe. Or was that 05?
That was 05, yeah.
Okay, so again, you had Norma Jean kind of in limbo. Especially like in the Christian scene, you didn't have a ton of Christian metalcore. You had Dead Poetic around this time, but again, not a ton of like metalcore that sounded this way.
Right.
And I know it was highly influential.
Now, the only thing, like you say, this is an easy A.
Like, to me, this is the Jimmy record,
That's fair. That it is really fair. I feel like for the longest time, like I would almost, it comes into what the next record is hard, because I feel like I've heard conversations where you think lower of that one and I think higher of it than maybe Burning Bridges, but I guess we could put it at A. I would say this is one of those ones where it's like I would, in their whole discography, I'd maybe put it at B, even though it's B for baseline. Like this is what Haste the Day is. This is like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess we could start off with A. We'll figure that out, because there's some I think that are clearly worse than others and some that are clearly better than others here.
Right.
I'm just like thinking about the room for it, but okay. So going into their second album, When Everything Falls, this is hard because like, you're going to say it's B tier, right? Or are you going to say it's C? D tier. Oh,
I don't know, dude. Every time I listen to this album, I'm just like, what's the hype about? I'm
When really Everything Falls is the hype. Everything.
It's one song.
It's one of their best songs.
So one good song does not rescue a full album.
They have a song. They have an instrumental song called Instrumental. You don't get more metal than that. No. This album is
I don't know. None of the songs like stand out for me. Every time, I always feel like I love Jimmy's vocals, but I think the album is not nearly heavy enough to complement his vocals.
Okay, I can see that. I think
that's why I like Burning Bridges better, because his vocals sound way better with that style of guitar playing.
That's fair. I think for me, what stands out about this record is that it's like...
Was it like your first?
I think it's the choruses. Like,
the choruses
there's more catchiness in the choruses, even though there's great choruses on Burning Bridges, don't get me wrong, but like and the clean vocal sections, but I think like they leaned a bit more into that for everything when everything falls, even though it's not like a super melodic record, like it's but it's like it's got the even the songwriting. I don't know,
like my criticism of that is those choruses don't match Jimmy's verses to me. It doesn't. If you showed me a chorus by itself, I would never expect the screamer sounds like Jimmy or vice versa.
Okay,
that's just mine. It just feels clunky to me.
Okay,
and I'm very opinionated. It's fine, but I'm not trying to get. I can go no. I don't know if I could go any higher than B.
I was going to say, because you said D initially, right?
I did say D, but you were going to like say S.
No.
I
was debating on initially, like, is Burning Bridges a B? Are they both Bs? Maybe. I guess I wouldn't give this one an A. Okay, so how about this? What if we put it... I would almost say B, but... I guess in some ways I'd be okay with it being a C. It's just I don't want to...
I'm okay with C.
I don't want to have that much of a gap between Burning Bridges and When Everything Falls.
Let's see, I'm okay with that gap.
Okay, I'll give you this one for now.
Okay,
we'll
for
see.
Now.
We'll put it in a C.
All right.
So Pressure the Hinges. This is the Steven era.
My favorite era of the band.
Yeah, I think for us being the younger generation fans of this band, like this is like the Haste the Day that we know, like that we.
Yeah.
Even though Burning Bridges was what I was first shown, like that initially did get me into Haste the Day, but it was already like 2009, 2010. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, Pressure the Hinges. The first time I heard this record, man, like.
It's a perfect
S tier. Oh, okay.
Oh, you were probably thinking like A, weren't you?
I think an A. I would actually be okay with a B, honestly. But
oh no, Pressure the Hinges is amazing.
Okay,
I like A for this. I think it's their second best record.
Yeah, see, that we agree on. I know that we have no qualms about what's their best record. Like, we are 100% in sync. That's where, like, now I'm interested in what Dreamer is for you. Because
that's interesting.
It's hard. For the longest time, I would have said
your least favorite.
But it's not. Wow, that's the thing. It's so hard. I love
really good. It's a lot better than I remember. I listened to it before this.
I was listening to it like a couple weeks ago.
I was like, this is like super solid B for me.
So I'm okay with that. And this is where I would maybe flip When Everything Falls and Dreamer, but like they're very close, but they're totally different. Like, but they're close in my mind.
Yeah, I get that. And then Attack of the Wolf King, that's S.
Instant S tier.
Like instant S. Like
one of the
top
best
10 Christian metalcore records ever. Yeah. Right?
I would almost say top 5.
It's close.
I don't know what those other 4 are necessarily, but like whenever I think of
just so good
best Christian metal of all time in my head, this is one of the albums that comes up in my head.
It doesn't get better than that album.
Coward is really hard.
This is where it's going to get interesting.
Because when this album came out, obviously at this point, full-on metalhead. Attack of the Wolf King is amazing, even though I've told the story multiple times on this podcast. My friend who was a massive fan who introduced me to them hated this record when it came out.
Yeah.
Coward came out, and I was so heavily anticipating this, especially because they were bringing so many members back, and it was going to be Jimmy and Steven. And I was like, this is going to be insane. When this first came out, I was super disappointed, and not so much in the songwriting, but I loathed, I was about to say hated, but I loathed the production on this album.
I knew you were going to say that.
I feel like we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
but
probably.
like, it's so raw and so muddy. And I think this was the start of the trend. Like, not that they were the trendsetter on this, but I think something hit in 2015, 2016, 2017, where like so much metalcore became really grungy and raw and muddy sounding. Like, there's something about that era that it just, something flipped, and it was less polish and more just make it raw and chaotic as much as you can. And this album is like, to me, is like the pinnacle of that sound. And I look back now with almost 10 years off of this.
Yeah. How do you feel about it now?
I like it a lot more now than I did then. It's, okay. I still think that if it was produced in a similar way as any of their older records, it would be a better record.
Okay.
But I appreciate it now. And I think it's just hard to say as it sits where it sits now. Like, I would put it, I guess, at a C tier. Maybe I was initially thinking maybe a D, but
okay,
it's grown on me. And I appreciate that it exists. I appreciate that it's a thing. I just think if it was ever got to a point where it was like remade or like remixed something, like if it was touched up into a more modern context,
right,
it would probably be A tier.
Okay, that's fair.
But I think C is what I'm thinking here.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
So this and Dreamer are definitely my two least listened to records.
Okay.
When I got into Haste today, basically all I listened to was Attack of the Wolf King. Like, that's the only record I cared to listen to because I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. Why would I check out their other stuff? And then I got into Pressure the Hinges and was like, all right, like, this is really cool. Yeah. Then Burning Bridges, I was like, yes, okay, I understand this now. So that being said, this album, I really have not listened to probably more than 5 times ever. Like,
I mean, honestly, I'm probably close to that. Like,
and so I don't remember a ton of the songs. I know what songs I like. I couldn't tell you what happens in the song. I just know when I've listened to it and I hear a specific song, oh yeah, that track title, I like that track title.
Yeah.
So like Gnaw, I know is really good.
Oh, dude, the end breakdown of Gnaw
is ridiculous.
Is insane.
I saw them play that live last year, and it was wild.
Man, that would be crazy.
Begin is really cool. Take is cool, because when you start listening to the record, it sounds a lot like a Norma Jean type record, and I really like that.
Okay,
I love Norma Jean.
I can see that.
It's very chaotic and like the very like dissonant and raw, a lot like Norma Jean can be. And I almost like to say this is like Haste Today's take on like a Norma Jean record.
Yeah.
Or on like that chaotic metal side. I would like probably like, I think objectively it's probably like B tier metalcore, but I think opinion wise, like I'm okay with C for now just because I haven't connected too much with it yet.
Yeah. I think like I just took a quick little listen here. Begin, I think I don't know if it was the first single. I'm pretty sure it was a single, but like the guitar riffs that open that up are just impeccable. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. World, I feel like had a really good like the lyrical content in that song
Right.
was really like I'm able to connect with. And Coward has some cool moments in it, but it's like those 4 songs to me are what this album is. Like I can't remember much of the rest of it. And I think that's something to do with his production style and the lack of listening, obviously, but the production style, because it's so muddy and raw, like it blends together more. Like you're just sticking your hands in the mud and like you can't tell this rock from that rock. Like it's just covered in mud, and like it's hard. I don't know if that analogy makes any sense, but
what a way with words.
Yeah.
quite poetic.
Thank you. Yeah, like I just thought this album could be so much more, but it's really good. Like it's Haste the Day. Like they don't miss, really. I mean,
they don't miss.
You might say When Everything Falls was a miss, but
When Everything Falls was a miss. Doesn't Jimmy even say that?
I don't know. I think maybe like
because Jimmy says they're way better with Steven.
Yeah, like and Steven started as a massive fan. Like they were like fans of each other essentially. Like when that role swapped, but. Like I think I understand. It's
probably like the smoothest swap of all time.
Yeah, like it's a totally different sound. Like the band changed a lot, but like I think when you bring in like Brennan's vocals,
Brennan is so cool.
Like
his vocals are great.
Yeah, like that was the glue that kept the fan base together. That like when that swap happened,
it still would sound like Haste the Day.
Exactly. Yeah, and. Like I can see where the old school fans are like when they were like Haste the Day first became a thing and massive Jimmy fans. Like I understand,
right?
And like because I'm coming from I more or less discovered them and got into them when Steven had already been the vocalist for a couple albums. Looking back, I would say that this stuff was better with Steven, though I love Jimmy's vocals, but it's like I think the band had to discover and change, and like the Attack of the Wolf King band was like the band itself was almost not Haste the Day at all in its original.
That's fair, yeah.
It was like one member left, and so
yeah,
like I can understand why there's people that probably wouldn't connect with it as much as Haste the Day because we grow so attached to like who's in these bands as this is the band, but. As far as the songwriting and just the change and everything, it peaked there. And then Coward was kind of like a weird blend of the two with a totally different production style. And so like it just didn't hit quite the same because it was trying to, I think, too much to be too many things.
I would agree.
But I think,
cool.
Yeah, that's our
I like that
tier list. I think fun. Attack of the Wolf King is easy yes.
Oh yeah, easy yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you guys thought. Thank you so much for joining us and listening
if you've made it to the end of episode 2, God bless you.
There'll be 2 hours after it edits.
Basically, yeah.
But I think, is this our new official longest episode?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to see. Let us know what you guys thought, because this is something that we can explore more. And maybe if you guys have suggestions for different types of lists we could do, if we want to see more of this, let us know. But
cool.
Thanks Sean,
guys.
for giving up
Chris.
Your Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go watch the Canucks beat the Oilers.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Go do that. We'll see if that ages poorly as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys.
All right. Thank you, everybody.